Hello, everyone, and I wish that you all are doing very well. I welcome you all to another session of hospitality sales, and the topic that we are going to discuss today is the attributes of a salesperson in the sales department in the hotel. My name is Chavi Sahai, and I work as an assistant professor at AISSMS College of Hotel Management and Catering Technology. So, coming to the learning objective of this session, here we will learn about the attributes required for a sales personnel in the hospitality sector or specifically the hotels. So first, let's try and understand what is the difference between an attribute and a skill. What do we mean by the personal attribute? So personal attributes are the characteristics or the qualities which an individual should have in required when they are working in a certain department. And attributes are the qualities which you might naturally have, and you can use it to your benefit in your life as well as at the workplace. For example, maybe naturally you are a very chatty person or a very talkative person, so which will come in handy if you are working in the sales department, because you need to communicate with the guests and so many other people. So it comes in handy, so it will be a attribute. Whereas compared to skills, skills are something that you learn through work. Maybe you are given a training, you acquire a skill. For example, the computer proficiency. Some people are very good at it, some people are not so good at it. So that becomes your skill if you're good at computers. These skills you acquire through training or sometimes through experience. If you're working in a certain workplace, you acquire certain skills which can come in handy. And in this session, we are going to discuss about the attributes. So the first attribute that we come to is patience. Very essential for a sales employee, because a sales professional cannot afford to be rude to the customer or the guest. And we have to be extremely patient, because the sales deal do not happen at the drop of the hat. It takes time for it to materialize. Clients or the guests need time to believe and trust the product, especially if you are a new hotel that has come up. So they need time to think and decide, because it involves a lot of money when we are dealing in hospitality sales. Next attribute that we come to is that the person working in sales should be people oriented. People oriented means they should understand the customer's need before anything else. What the customer is looking for, we should be providing that. The salespeople should also have a caring attitude towards customer, not just thinking about your own targets, your own budgets that we have to meet. So you have to have a caring attitude towards the customer. We should not be only thinking about our targets, we should be honest, and we should not be faking any stories, making big promises that we will not be able to deliver later on. So honesty is very important. So we have to be people oriented, more customer focus than your own hospitality sales focus. Okay. Next, we come to being aggressive. Okay. Here we do not mean that you have to be very aggressive and you have to fight for something. Here we just mean the salesperson has to be aggressive and energetic. You have to keep at it. Whenever you will approach somebody for a sales call, a new prospect, you cannot believe that they will immediately say yes. So if initially a guest says no to your sales deal, that does not mean you leave it there and you move on somewhere else. You have to be aggressive, you have to keep following up, and you have to be persistent to land a sales deal. Lazy individuals do not make good sales professionals. Next, we come to having a go-getter attitude. The salesperson has to be very optimistic to make sure that we achieve the best result as a sales department. And secondly, we have to be ready that not everyone would be wanting your product when you go out and sell it in the market. It is not necessary that everyone will want it. And we learn from our mistakes. We have to make sure that And we remember that the failures are stepping stones towards success. So you need to have that attitude when you are a sales personnel. Next, we come to value time. The person who's working in the sales department has to be very punctual. Being late creates a very bad impression in the minds of the guest. So you have to always keep it in mind. It is like a sin if the guest is waiting for you rather than you waiting for him. So you must never make the customer wait for you. You start a little early because we all know things that go wrong, traffic problems, etc. We all are aware of that. So if you have a sales meeting, you make sure that you start a little early and you are there before time, if not on time. Okay. So we have to be very careful about that. Next, we come to having commitment. Commitment, if you say a salesperson who's more committed toward his work or his target or his customers will definitely do well and make his mark as compared to others, somebody who's not committed. So salesperson definitely has to have commitment towards the job, and commitment is important in all aspects of life, be it any job that we are working in. And once you have established trust with the guest, you've committed something, then there's no turning back. You lose the trust of the customer if you do not fulfill your promises or the commitment that you have made. Next attribute that we come to is flexibility. The salesperson has to be ready to change your plan. Anything that you're pitching for, any sales deal that you're presenting to the guest, you should be able to change it as per the client's requirement. You have to make quick decisions. You have to be ready to adapt to any changes. People in sales department cannot be rigid, or we ourselves as salespeople cannot be too demanding. We have to follow what the customer wants and work accordingly. Next, we come to reliability. Reliable means the guest has to be able to believe you. The customer should be able to depend on the salesperson. A sense of trust is very important. To deliver best quality also, the hotel salesperson has to be reliable. Then only the customer will believe us and our name will get established, our brand will get established if we are reliable as salespeople. Next, we come to the attribute of being transparent. Transparent here means that whatever dealings you are doing, anything that you are telling the guest, you have to be very clear about it. You should not hide anything from the customer. Transparency is essential to avoid any problems in future. If there's certain amount of tax which is levied over and above that, the cost that you are presenting to the guest, you should let the guest know. And if your hotel does not accept uh, cash beyond a certain limit prescribed by the government, we do not indulge in such things. All this you have to let the guest know initially only at the time of the first meeting. So you have to be transparent so that in the future when the actual bill is being settled, there should not be any issues. Next, we come to diligence. Diligence means hard work. Okay, diligence always pays. So a person who's sitting in the office and not doing any hard work, not going out in the field, will not be a very good sales professional. Okay, merely sitting in your office will not help. So you need to go out, you need to meet new people and make prospective clients, which will eventually become your regular guest once they come into the hotel or they book a banquet with you. A salesperson ideally should spend maximum time in the field, that is doing the sales call, etc., to achieve best possible outcomes and we meet our targets. That is the idea. Next, we come to good communication. Though it is towards the end, but it is one of the most important attributes that a salesperson can have. A salesperson should be a very good communicator for the desired impact, for creating best impression, to letting everything that the customer asks for making sure that we understand and we clearly communicate a yes or a no. So good communication is very, very important in the sales field. You have to be at the same time very careful with your pitch and the tone when you especially trying to land a prospective client. So you have to be aggressive, as we have discussed previously, while pitching in your sales, but you have to be at the same time very humble, because we all are working in the service industry. So we have to understand that the politeness has to be there when you are specially communicating with the guest. So that concludes our session on the personal attributes required in a sales professional. I thank you all for listening in. Please follow the link that I have given in the description box and attempt the quiz on this topic. I would also like to give credit to the following sites from where I have sourced some pictures and some material for this presentation. Thank you all once again.